Let's take you to the launch of the National Election Information Center by the Coalition of Domestic Election Observers. Manuel Kranting joins us live. Manuel, tell us what has been going on there.
Oh, Daniel, I'm really struggling to hear you, but if I'm hearing you, you just need an update on what has been happening here. So at the Kofi Annan International Peacekeeping Training Center, well, today the CODEO, Coalition of Domestic Election Observers, has launched what would be on December 7 a parallel coalition center that essentially will be picking data from all of it. We're told 4,000 election observers who will be dotted across the country, bringing in real-time events and data for the team here, as you can see behind me, to be cracking them down and then putting them out. We're told that this is essentially to, beat down the tension so that there's smooth flow of information to the public. Well, Dr. CODEO Pumpuni Asante is the coordinator at this center and just joining me for a quick interaction. So how far do you think this coalition center is going to go in terms of what the target you've set for yourself in beating down tension?
Well, thank you. So this is just to say that this is a national information center. And it's a national information center because we are not here doing collation. What we are is a nerve center for our observers to sending their data, their text messaging data, which we'll process and be able to share with the public in terms of how the elections are going. There are about 5 different events, we call them 5 events, that we'll be tracking. So right from the beginning, our observers are supposed to be there at 6 a.m. We want them to be able to be there and be able to report that they are there and they've been allowed to observe, so that at least we know that observers are in there. And then to observe the setup that the Electoral Commission is going to prepare for the voting process to start. So between 6 a.m. and 7 a.m., by 7:30 we should have all of that data about how the setup is done.
Essentially, you'll be giving periodic, the information to the public as time moves.
We normally do a midday press event where we are able to gather information about the arrival and the setup, because those things are important. You want to make sure that all the materials that are supposed to be at the polling stations are there. The biometric machines, the ballot papers, the name reference list, all of because if some are missing, then it would delay the electoral process. Also, you want to make sure that the polling stations are open by 7 a.m. So we'll be able to get information from our observers.
So 2 quick things. Yes. One, security, and the other one, your takeaway lessons from the special voting conducted 2 days ago. What are your lessons from that special voting exercise? And then your impression of the security setup also.
Okay, well, I think generally, for me, one thing that was good was that the BVD machines performed well because these were the live testing of the BVD machines. So that bodes well for the election day itself. But the special voting was generally smooth. There were a few places where I think people had missing names, which the Electoral Commission is dealing with. So that bodes well, I said, for E-Day itself. Of course, that's a much larger grouping, but so far, so good with that process. On the security issue, I think I am still waiting to hear how the electoral security would deal with the concerns raised by the chiefs in the Volta region. And I think really, for me, that really has to be all about dialogue, is to engage the community, because there are 2 objectives there. You want to address the secessionist issue there, but at the same time, you don't want that to be turned into an area where there's intimidation and people cannot go out to vote. So there has to be a lot of education and engagement with opinion leaders there, but also the media there, because you don't want people fanning, any kind of tension in there. So those are the things that are outstanding. So we want to hear more of that going into the election.
Great. More of that going into the election. So, Daniel, you heard me speak to Dr. CODEO Pumpuni Asante's the coordinator at this nerve center, as he just said, of CODEO. They will be working and bringing live updates to the public on election day.
Right.
So, from here, the Kofi Annan International Peacekeeping Training Center. Daniel, over to you.
Thank you very much, Manuel Kranting.